a youth resource center in Benin City. This center is a free training center as well, where very young people are invited, they're brought into the center to engage themselves constructively so that they cannot be engaged in social vices that we have found to militate against our people for many years. As we train them at these centers, we educate them, we give them opportunity to participate in extracurricular activities so that they can be useful to themselves, to their families, and of course to society. In a nutshell, I would like to just round up by saying this we have done is a humble contribution to human development. And I want to appeal to everyone here to join hands with us in our campaign to restore the dignity of womanhood. And in restoring the dignity of womanhood, we are campaigning and we are appealing to destination countries of victims of human trafficking to be aware and not to patronize human traffickers, and also to ensure that our young women are not constantly taken advantage of by these ruthless traffickers who strip them of their fundamental human rights. That is what we stand for. Children in Africa, women in Africa, particularly Nigeria, are women like us. They are dignified women. Their rights should be their rights. And nobody has a right to take those rights from these women and these children. And in the course of our work, we have also been invited to intervene in several areas through my appointment as the new chairman of Edo State Action Committee on AIDS. We have been able to attend to orphans and vulnerable groups as a result of HIV/AIDS. We have ensured that these orphans also benefit from our scholarship scheme. It should be our collective efforts to touch a life. And in doing so, we must ensure that there's sincerity of purpose. Someone mentioned earlier that you have to live in Africa to feel the pain in Africa. And that pain today, with everyone's contribution to what African Focus is doing, I know some part of it will be taken away. I want to particularly thank African Focus for what you're doing, and I'm most delighted and most humble, and I dedicate this award to the voiceless in Africa, to all the children who are beneficiaries of the Edo Underprivileged Children Scholarship Trust Fund and victims of human trafficking, to give them hope that someday, somehow, that light is going to shine on them. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much. We have Nikki Wigwe just presented the bouquet of flowers to you from the good people of Los Angeles. We send love back to Africa, but we also want to put some dollars in the bouquet. Naha Jesus. Thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you can join them. Just clap your hands and greet them. That's the first lady from Edo State. We call her Eki. She's so pretty.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Perfect natural. See, this is when you talk about they got your back.
Yes.
See what I'm saying? See, this is when they got your back.
Okay.
This is a crew. You know what I mean? See, everybody need to roll like that. You know what I mean? You got to have somebody that have your back, people. This is where it came from. See, it got watered down over here, but this is the original. We got your back. I'm down with you. This is my crew. These are my home girls. All that right there. See, that's you know we just translated a little bit, but it's the same thing. Don't get it twisted.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. One of the honorees of tonight, a person that has been a blessing to us here in the United States of America, way back in Africa, the woman who is nothing but pride and joy. We're also welcoming King Nat Jr. from Morono Kingdom in Ivory Coast. He is in the house. We have a king in the house. While we are if we were back home, it would be a whole celebration for a whole day. Let's give Jesus another round of applause. Now I want the lights to dim because now we are going to be mesmerized. We are going to be watching Miss Mali.
The Ministry of Education and Culture welcomes you to the Prime Minister's Independence Gala. Rita Anderson, now Rita Marley, officer of the Order of Distinction, was born in Cuba, but grew up in the streets of Trenchtown, where in the early 60s she became a singer with the Solettes. The Solettes were a popular female group which appeared on shows with stars of the like of the Four Tops and Johnny Nash. It was during this era that she met Bob Marley, and their mutual love of music helped their romance to blossom. Soon, Rita and Bob were married, and having endured the hard times of the 60s, Rita was happy to take the newly formed I3 on stage as background vocalists for Bob. Rita then traveled with Bob as his star rose from Trenchtown to unrivaled international success. In 1976, like Bob, she was wounded in the attack on Tough Gong just 3 days before the Smile Jamaica concert. But Rita still stood beside her man on stage at the show. In 1980, on the eve of Bob's death, Rita was re-establishing herself as a solo artist. Her single, One Draw, created shockwaves around the world and was a massive bestseller that made music history as the first reggae single to top, ironically, the Billboard disco charts. It is still reported by many sources as the biggest-selling reggae single of all times. Her album, Who Feels It, Knows It, and the follow-up, Harambe, established Rita as a major artiste in her own right, with hits like Ajaja, and There'll Always Be Music. During the years since Bob's death, Rita has also continued to be involved in I3 projects,
Strength like a raging lion. Oh, he's destined to Zion.
as well as the career of her children, Ziggy Marley and the Melody Makers. Her company, Rita Marley Music, continues to be a producer of top reggae recordings, and her involvement in the management of Tough Gong International and the success of the company is well established. Despite her own achievements, Rita is perhaps best known worldwide as the widow of Bob Marley and the subject of the classic hit, No Woman, No Cry. She works with the Bob Marley Foundation and Museum to ensure that the Marley image truly reflects the spiritual and prophetic nature of the late superstar. As a solo artist, she has toured the world, but insists that her main role is as a mother, a sister, and a woman. She believes her life can be an example to the younger generation and people downtrodden by poverty. In 1982, she stole the show at the Jamaica World Music Festival in Montego Bay, and her performance for some 1 million people at an anti-nuclear rally in Central Park, New York, was reported by Rolling Stones magazine as the high point of the event. Rita Marley's message is simple. It is one of joy, togetherness, and peace, and rightfully so. After all, she is a shining queen of reggae.
This is Rita Marley. Next.
Take it. She's gonna come to.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Rita Marley is making her way to the stage, but I must introduce to you her granddaughter, Denishia. Please come on, Denishia. Her granddaughter is going to say something.
Thank you. Greetings, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people. How we feeling?
Irene!
How we feeling?
Irene!
Irene. I came prepared with a 3-page speech on what I could say about my grandmother. And, you know, so many times we give so much power to words when there are moments when words really don't say all we need to say. You know what I'm saying? I used to think that this statement was, behind every strong man is a strong woman. But my grandmother corrected me. She said, beside every strong man is a stronger woman. And that is so true. It is the thought that we are enduring the unendurable that keeps us moving. I never used to understand what my grandmother meant by the phrase, I know a place we must carry on, but now I do understand. She has brought her mission to Africa. She left her children and grandchildren and all those she loved and who loved her in Jamaica to fulfill her spiritual prophecy, to fulfill what was dedicated to her by her husband, which was to save Africa through music, to unite Africa through reggae music, through the spirit of music. And this she has done and continues to do with all of her love and all of her might. And I must say that Grandma, you are the most beautiful person that I have ever known in my life. Whenever people tell me that I'm beautiful, I tell them that I'm a reflection of my mother and my grandmother, because that is the truth. When my grandfather transitioned, you know, many thought that Grandma would pass on with him. Many thought that she couldn't carry on, but she knew that she could, because she was pregnant with a dream. She was pregnant with a dream that Africa can unite. And as my grandfather told her, Africa must unite. And so, 24 years after his passing, she gave birth to this vision. She brought it to life in the form of a concert that would take the world by storm, uniting hands and hearts across Africa. It was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day in Ethiopia on February the 6th, 2005, when hands and hearts joined and drumbeat of Africa beat all across the world to say, we have united. We have united and we will continue to unite. Grandma has and continues to do great work in Africa, and thank you so much for recognizing that, because she has had such a hard time. People have fought her so much, but the strength of a woman has not allowed her to fail, and to this day she continues her work as a woman, as a mother of the world. I present you Mrs. Rita Marley.
Ladies and gentlemen, while you're standing, I'm going to bring the founder, CEO of African Focus, Mazi Uche. One more, please give him a round of applause.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you. For most of you, it seems like it has already passed your bedtime, but it's a great day, great evening, that we all can get together and celebrate human kindness. Thank you for coming. My hands are full, and most of you have been wondering, why are people getting too many envelopes? What you don't understand is that this award is not just from African Focus. Our honorees have done great, and our leaders have recognized their work. In my hand here, I have a certificate of commendation from the city of Los Angeles, signed by the mayor, Councilman Park, and Jen Hen. I also have another certificate. I wish I can show it to you, but my hands are full. From our congressional leaders, from the city of Carson, and thank you. Thank you. This is from the city of Los Angeles, from the mayor. And this is from Congress Assemblyman Mavli Damley. And my son just scribbled for me. And this is from Diane Watson's office, Congresswoman Diane Watson, congratulating our lifetime honoree and all of other award recipients. And finally, but not the least, this is from our supervisor, 2nd District, Ms. Burke. So, on behalf of African Focus Board of Directors, executive members, our community, the Ngwa Cultural Organization, the Ghana Cultural Organization, the Bini Community Organization as well, please join me to welcome and to present the 2006 Lifetime Achievement Award to Ms. Marley. Please.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. And as we say in Ghana, Akwaba. Akwaba, you're all welcome. First, I must ask you to say, Africa unite. One more time. One more time. Of course. And with unity, we gain our strength. So I want to thank you all for being here this evening. And I must thank the organizers for this very, very special gift, token, and treasure of the Lifetime Achievement Award. When I moved to Ghana 5 years ago, I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't working for a physical award. I know that it was a spiritual task, and that I had to do it. I must thank my children for really giving me time out to do what I had to do. The gift of God, which is eternal life, is bestowed upon us. And so, I'm so excited. I wish I could sing for you tonight, but wow. But you know what? We are doing this Africa Unite, as my granddaughter said, Denisha said about Africa Unite. We're doing this all over Africa. As my husband Bob Marley said, Africa Unite because it's later than you think. And so we must do that, because without unity, we can't do anything. Unity is our strength. And to the organizers of this program tonight, I must say, sir, it's a blessing. Thank you very much. So you want to join me to sing one now? All right. One love. Come on, let me hear you. One heart. Stand up. Let's get together and feel alright. Hear the children crying. One love. Oh Lord, have mercy. One heart. Oh, thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. We're singing, let's get together and feel alright now. Now let a man pass all this dirty romance. There is one question I'd rather love to ask. Is there a place for the hopeless sinners who has hurt all mankind? Just to save us all. Hear the children singing, one love, oh Lord have mercy, one heart. Oh, let's get together and feel alright. As it was in the beginning, one love. So shall it be in the end. One heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. We're singing, let's get together and feel alright. Come on, sing it.
When the man comes, there will be no Jew. I pity on those whose chance to grow. When they go, hiding place from the Father of creation. Singing, one Lord. Hear the children crying. One heart. Hear the children. Get together and feel alright. As it was in the beginning. One love. In the end. One heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's come together and feel alright. The Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. God bless Rita, there is no other. There is no other Rita. There's only one Rita Marley in the house.
Ladies and gentlemen, don't go nowhere. Do not leave your seats. We have more
More,
coming to you.
right now.
I might even go to Ziggy and tell him to come back here. I know I didn't pay you, but you're not going to come back here. Let's give you a round of applause! How come your focus, you did it? All the people that put this together, let's give them a round of applause, please. All the people, volunteers, everybody. The musicians. Wow. Are you ready for Mike Okri? Are you ready for Mike Okri? Give him a round of applause, Mike Okri. Go on. You call a woman, African woman, no go green.
She gon' say, I'm the lady, oh.
If you call a woman, African woman, no go green, say.
She gon' say, I'm the lady, oh.
The lady is full of strings of trouble. That headache making me unstable. Power like mine. She gon' say anything man do, say we do. She gon' want to take cigar before anybody. I never talk finish. I never talk finish. I never talk finish. I never talk finish. Oh.
She gon' say, I'm the lady, oh.
I want you to rock now, get on your feet.
She gon' say, I'm the lady, oh.
I know more. I know more. Can I hear that? I know
She goes down to fight, African woman. She goes down to fight. She knows woman master. She go cook for her. She go do anything. But lady not the soul. 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 Lady not master. Lady not master. Lady not master. Woman. Lady not master. Oh, oh, oh. She gon' say, thirsty. Call up for dance. Everybody, call up for dance. African woman go dance. African woman go dance. She not be man master. She go do anything she say. But lady not the soul. 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 Lady not master. Lady not master. Lady not master. Lady not master. Oh, she just say, she gon' say I'll be lady. She gon' say African woman, a woman. She gon' say, she gon' say. Put your hands